So in the last lesson, we talked about causes and effects. And today we are going to look at two things. We're going to look at finding examples for causes and effects, and we're also going to look at possible solutions for our problem. So if you remember from the previous lesson, we looked at a video which was talking about biodiversity. Biodiversity, if you remember, really just means what is the variety of life in a particular area. So how many different types of animals and plants there are. The video was looking at the fact that biodiversity around the world is decreasing, and this is a bad thing, not just for plants and animals, but also for humans. Alright, so again, from the last lesson, what we did was we filled in this causes and effects chart. So we had our problem, which was biodiversity is decreasing around the world. And then we looked at causes of this problem, and then what are the effects of this problem. All right, so first of all, looking at the causes, we can see that there were a number of main causes, and then there were a number of secondary causes over here. One of the big causes of biodiversity decreasing was, of course, climate change. And when we look at this chart, we can see that different things feed into climate change: urbanization, pollution, forest fires. And so these causes in many ways are connected. This is my cause and effect chart. However, maybe your cause and effect chart for this problem looks a little bit different. That's fine. And then, of course, we looked at the effects of this problem. I was only able to identify a few effects from the video that we watched. So people are forced to relocate, and there's extinction of animals and plants. And so what I did was I looked online and I found some more effects. And so we can see that if there isn't enough land to support humans, then this leads to competition for resources, which results in war. And again, over here, if there's a breakdown in functioning ecosystems, then a result of that is an increased risk of diseases. Interestingly, the COVID pandemic at the moment, many people think, is linked to the fact that biodiversity is decreasing in many places. So again, your effects may be slightly different to mine, but I just want you to see how, a lot of these are connected. So if there's a breakdown in functioning ecosystems, then this can lead to both diseases and animal plant extinction. So a lot of these effects are connected. Okay, so what I want to look at now is examples, because when you write your cause and effect report, we want you to not only identify causes and effects, but also to identify some examples of these causes and effects. Now, the video that we watched in the last lesson was very good because it provided lots of examples. So one example that they provided was about bees and how their populations are decreasing, and because of this, other species are affected too. Another example they used was the Hawaiian honeycreeper bird, and this bird is becoming extinct because its habitat is being destroyed. And then finally, Indigenous people in Australia, so these would be people who have lived in Australia for longer than Europeans, they are being threatened because biodiversity is affecting their farming, so they can't farm in the same way as they used to. So these were 3 examples from the video. And next I want to talk about some solutions. So again, the video was very good. It did provide a few solutions to the problem. I was able to identify 3 solutions. Again, maybe you could see some different solutions. And I was able to see that there were three levels. There was the national level, which was an example was advocating for environmental policy, and then there was at the local level, so working with and supporting habitat restoration groups. That was an example that they gave. And then lastly was at the personal level. So they suggested that we should reduce our own individual carbon footprints. And so these were three possible solutions to the problem. So in the next lesson, you're going to look at another problem, and you're going to use another causes and effects chart. But this time, you are going to be focusing on finding examples and solutions for your problem. Now, normally, you won't be able to find examples and solutions in the same source like we did in the video. You will normally have to search online for examples of your causes and effects, and then you'll need to find some solutions too. So of course, when you're looking for examples and solutions, you will be looking at different sources, and of course you will need to cite these sources.